Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we've got an interesting leak to go over that suggests that playtests for the next Battlefield game or Battlefield Labs may well be beginning very soon, and you may even have an email in your inbox at this very moment. This is going to be a bit of a tinfoil hat one. We can't really prove any of these leaks as 100% correct, but I really see no reason why these people would lie about these things, so we're going to jump into all of that in a second. Before we do though, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, make sure you're subbed up, leave a like if you enjoyed the video as well. There's going to be plenty more to come on Battlefield 6 or whatever the next Battlefield game ends up being called, so keep it here on the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for the ongoing support. I know there's not really been much Battlefield news to talk about, but I'm sure it will ramp up pretty soon. So this morning I opened my Discord and I had an anonymous source basically send me a message pointing me in the direction of a Reddit post. Now, this Reddit post has since been deleted, but if you click on the post, you can read it, although the picture that this person posted has been deleted here. And this is the post. It says, I got a playtest invitation, and it's on literally the only day I absolutely can't do. Sobs, absolutely gutted. So presumably, this person shared a picture of the email that he received from EA, signifying that he had been selected to playtest the next Battlefield game in one of the upcoming tests. Now, obviously, anybody can make a post on Reddit stating that they got an invite, right? So take this with a pinch of salt, right? It may be just speculation, you know, it's just conjecture here, but I would say, why would this person really lie about this? Also, I think the fact that he specifically says that it takes place on the only day he can't do would lead me to believe that these playtests are not going to be the regular kind of beta tests or even alpha tests that me and you are maybe used to taking part in, where the servers are up for a number of weeks at a time, and you can just jump in and really get stuck in and really get your feet wet. No, I think it's going to be like one certain specific day, probably even for like 2 or 3 hours, where the devs are involved, the servers are online, you can play, and then once that's done, you will have a feedback session most likely with EA and with DICE, and that's going to be it. It's going to shut down, and then you're going to have to wait until the next playtest. Now, maybe this particular playtest is only very few people. What we know from when they announced the Battlefield Labs initiative is that they said the playtest would be beginning within a few weeks. Well, it's definitely been, what is it, 2 or 3 weeks right now since the announcement, so I wouldn't be surprised if we did see invites start to go out, but this sounds like a particularly small test of maybe just only like a few hundred people. So again, I do think this guy is definitely telling truth here. I don't really see why. Like, why would he bother posting this if it wasn't true? Because it's also evident here that he posted some sort of an image or a GIF, and then you can see in the comments that somebody says, but it doesn't say when the playtest is, so I assume they looked at the picture and it was a picture of the email. It says here as well that he cropped it out because he didn't want to overshare details in case it somehow gets back to him and then it blacklists him for the future tests. And then you can see the same user here says you're not supposed to be sharing that stuff here, and then it looks like after that he has deleted this post, so you won't be able to search this on Battlefield 2042's Reddit unless you actually have the link to it, which I was provided with. Now, the person who contacted me about this also saw the picture that the person on Reddit posted, and they confirmed for me here that essentially what they saw there was the same sort of artwork that we all got in the confirmation email. So for anybody who did sign up to Battlefield Labs testing, which I'm going to assume was 99.9% of you guys who watch the channel here, you probably got some sort of an email from EA saying, hey, you're signed up, and if we select you for a playtest, we'll let you know about it and we'll shoot you an email. And he said the artwork in this email from this guy on Reddit was exactly the same, but it basically had a button that you could click to verify your participation, and it said RSVP, which I believe is actually French, and it stands for Répondez s'il vous plaît, and that basically just means respond if you please. So again here, this really would lead me to believe, and I think points to the fact that this is an incredibly small test. They're asking people, are you going to be able to make it on this particular day at this time? And presumably if you respond and say, no, I'm not, they are then going to send out invites to more people. Normally with these playtests, they will just invite thousands of players, and they're not necessarily checking who's going to be able to make it and who isn't, because it's going to be open for such a long time and there's going to be so many thousands of players in there that it doesn't really matter if some people can't make it. Now, he also said that in the email, he can't quite remember the exact date, but it either said to reply at the latest on the 6th of March at 12 o'clock or the 9th of March by 12 o'clock. But he thinks it was the 9th of March rather than the 6th, but basically this confirms 100% that the playtest is taking place pretty soon after, I guess, the 9th of March. So if you guys did sign up to Battlefield Labs, I would go and check your inboxes, maybe even check your junk folders, check the promotions tab if you use Gmail like I do, because you could well have an invitation waiting there, and if you don't reply to it, like this guy says, you actually have to click a button and say, yes, I'm going to be able to attend on that particular day, at that particular time. If you don't do that, then you may not actually be able to make it if you haven't replied before the 9th of March. So definitely go and check your inboxes, guys. Obviously, I can't tell you if I've received an invite one way or the other, really, because when it comes to leaks and stuff, I can only cover, obviously, things that are already in the public space. But I think it's going to be a very interesting time, both for me as a creator and just for the Battlefield community in general, because I can only assume here that leaks are going to be coming out of people left, right, and center. Clearly, the more people that they invite to these tests, the more people who are going to be taking to Reddit and basically just leaving a load of anonymous information there about what has been going on in the tests. So even if you are somebody who never gets invited to any of the Battlefield Labs testing, I think you're still going to find out a lot about it. That's at least what I'm kind of hoping. Like, on the one hand, I don't want it to ruin the game for DICE, because I know that if you hear something in a leak, that can lead to some expectations that X, Y, or Z feature is then going to be in the game, where in actuality, they may just be trying this out, it may never make it into the game, and, you know, people start to get wound up about something that may not even come to pass anyway. But on the other hand, it also leads to some sort of hype building around the game too, which can work in EA and DICE's favour. So I guess it kind of cuts both ways. But one way or the other, let's be absolutely real here, they're not going to be able to stop people leaking the information from the playtests. It's going to be on the public forum, we're going to hear about it, and we're going to be able to talk about it as well. I said this in a previous video as well, but I do sometimes wonder maybe if EA and DICE are purposefully doing this. They are kind of masters at marketing Battlefield games, and maybe that's the whole point of this. They surely must realize that this stuff is like 110%, some of it, going to get leaked by somebody at some point, and maybe they realize that's mostly going to work in their favor, at least if they're proud of what they've made and what they're doing with the next Battlefield game. If they think it's going to be received positively by the community, then I guess leaks will actually work that way. Just as a final thought here, by the way, if you're wondering, like, did it not show in the email from this guy in the picture what the date of the playtest was? And it did show that, but like he said, he blacked it out there, he cropped it out of the image just so he wouldn't get in trouble. But again, assuming that the last date to confirm your participation is the 9th of March, it's probably going to be sometime later on this March. Anywho, I wish you the best of luck, guys. I really, really do. I haven't received any email, of course, whether I'm telling the truth about that or not. You're going to have to judge for yourself, because if I had received one, I couldn't tell you about that anyway, but I haven't, so that's just the way it is. I wish you guys luck, though. Hopefully you guys do get an email and some of you are able to participate in it. I wish you the best of luck there. Leave me your comments down below. Obviously, don't go sharing if you've gotten an email or not, because you're not really supposed to do that. And I wouldn't want any of you guys to jeopardize your possible participation in the program. So, like, don't go sharing this all over the place. But let me know what you're excited to test here. As far as I understand it, it's going to be smaller tests that focus on specific areas of the game. So it might just be like one game mode, one map, one specific very niche situation that they just want to test. They test that for a day, they get the feedback, and then they iterate. And then the next week, they're going to come back and do a completely different test with maybe completely different people. I really, really do hope we hear something soon from the team. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you have a good one, and I will see you all in the next video.